Yeah, from Little Kim, the Queen Bee. It's ladies' night, what? It must be Angie on the mic. The butter pea, honey, got the sugar, got the spice. Roll the L tight, keep the rhymes right, yo. I just made this motherfucker up last night. And I'm the rookie on this all-star team. Me and Kim is getting cream, like Thelma and Louise, but on chrome. Never leave that Brooklyn shit alone. So if you say it's on, then it's on. Bang this in your whips, pack them cold roly with the chips in the wrist. Here's a French kiss, I dismiss all you chicks. Spit 6 from the 4th, 5th, make it dance. Ow! I stay focused, and the dope is like a penny with the hole in it.
They say communication is one of the key factors in a relationship that actually helps to build that relationship. Apart from communication, we also have compromise, which is something that is very key when you're in a relationship. Also, we've got understanding. Now, studies show that a lot of people tend to mix or mistake understanding with endurance. We have a lot of people in relationships, especially marriages, that are just enduring and not necessarily happy in that relationship. Today on Ladies' Night, we will be talking about the thin line between endurance and understanding in a relationship. My name is Ameze Obai Siagbon. Welcome to the program. And yes, always on the show, we have a fantastic topic to talk about. And when I say we, I'm not alone in the studio. I've got 2 beautiful ladies, actually about 5 beautiful ladies, although some will not be joining us in this first half of the show. I've got I was just about to say the ever-glowing Mama P, but oh God, CY to kill me. How are you doing, Mama P?
I'm okay. I've missed you girls.
We've missed you too.
I'm happy to be here.
All right, welcome. And we also have the ever-glowing Caroline Okonji.
You called her ever-glowing.
I think we should call you the
so
natural.
Now you should call
Miss
me
Natural
today.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm good.
We are good.
Yes, we're all good. All right, now, like I said earlier on, we're going to be talking about the thin line between endurance and, of course, understanding in a relationship. And we're going to be focusing it on domestic violence, as the case may be. Basically, a lot of people tend to keep quiet. They say they understand their spouse, they understand their partner. So if he's slapping me, it means he's angry. If he's doing this, it means he's this. Sometimes we are just suffering, not just necessarily compromising or understanding. I want to ask my ladies, has any of you ever been in a situation where you were, in quotes, understanding the person you're dating, but in real life, you're actually enduring the person? You were not really happy with the situation, but you just stayed.
I don't know why you're looking this direction.
I'm looking at both of you.
Okay. Well, when you started up the show, you talked about understanding and endurance. Or let me say, you listed out some of the things that are important in a relationship. But our focus for today is understanding and endurance. I believe we're going to be differentiating both of them today. So when you talk about understanding in a relationship, I think this has to be, let me just come from when we're in classroom, when a teacher is teaching you and you be like, do you understand? You say, yes, I do. That's
even when you don't understand.
Even when you don't understand. That's because whatever the teacher is saying, he or she expects you to take in what he or she is saying. So now when we talk about relationship now, you are in a relationship, and whatever comes up in that relationship, you are learning. So it is either you understand or you don't understand. So if I'm going to talk about understanding that relationship now, your partner is one person that is calm, is one person that is this, he spends a lot, he doesn't even spend a lot, he talks a lot. It means you know that this is him. You understand that this is him. You've been able to go through the terms and conditions, the privacy and everything, you know, that I can be able to say, I understand my man. I know him too well. You can vouch for him, whether for good or not. But when we talk about enduring your partner or your husband, your boyfriend, it has to do with the
his character, as the case may be, because it may not necessarily be him you're enduring or her, as the case may be.
Yes, you're enduring your man.
You're
enduring your man, and why you are enduring your man is those things that are his characters that you are enduring. That's to say, you are enduring your partner. So it is either or you are tolerating his funny characters, which you are not comfortable with, or your partner is one person that nags a lot, like those things that you are not comfortable with, you just feel like, well, let me just manage. You're just there, not because you are comfortable with those things, but you just feel like maybe one day he will change. Let me just be tolerating. Let me just, but at the end of the day, it might not work for you. He might not change. You just end up tolerating, bearing, praying one day he's going to change, and at the end of the day, he doesn't change. So understanding is knowing who your partner is. Then enduring, to me, this is my own understanding, because why enduring is those things that you see in the relationship that you're not comfortable with, but you're just trying to deal with it to see if it will work.
You know, you used the word earlier on, which I feel is what you should say again.
Okay.
You're just managing.
Yeah.
That's the word.
But why do I feel?
Yes.
So why I feel say CY just intelligently dodged the question where Empress asked.
Oh my goodness,
Have
no, I
you
haven't.
been?
I haven't.
No, I'm
because
waiting for you to land there.
Okay, well, I think I'll
because let's not be speaking.
You know, before we
because
started off the show, I said something. I said
Yes.
she's trying to play smart in everything.
Yes.
You're becoming very diplomatic.
Yes.
No,
You're
okay.
becoming controversial.
Okay, no, but wait, I think
Have
I still
you been?
understand.
No, the question
I'm just
was
trying to
from
dance.
Empress.
No, I'm just trying to dance around what
okay.
Yeah, come to the
endurance
center
and
stage.
understanding is.
Okay.
Now, I think your question is:
Have
I been able, or have I been
In any
a
relationship where
that
you were
I-
enduring and thinking you were understanding?
Yes.
You just say
Now,
yes or
let
no
me
before
just
I.
answer.
Mm.
I think I have to explain better now. Now, I have been in a relationship.
Okay.
Truth be told, I have been in a relationship that I really endured, not because I love this person, but I just felt like, let me just be coping with all those things. I was just there. I never felt anything. I was just enduring.
Okay.
That's just it.
You know why I asked that?
Answer yours.
No, I'm going to answer.
No, answer
No,
first.
I will answer.
Don't copy what she
Empress,
did.
I'm not copying what she did, but I'm just trying to explain to our viewers why I threw more light on that question. Because 1 or 2 in every 10 women almost have endured, not knowing to them. You get? So I just wanted to throw more light. Even me, I'm not exempted. I've been in a relationship where I was enduring, thinking I was understanding. It's oftentimes misunderstood. So a lot of persons just remain there, not knowing their relationship has become toxic. Do you understand? It starts with understanding. Endurance starts with understanding. Do you understand? And then from understanding, you go to the tolerance level where, okay, this one is not like he did not know when he did it, but maybe it was a mistake and you're tolerating him. Do you get? Yeah. So I personally asked that question again so we understand that it has affected a lot of us. Maybe in this room right now, only one person have not been in that position. Do you get? No, don't give me that queen smile. Probably you've not. But a lot of persons have been there. I've been there. You get? Understanding is all about comprehension. You get what he's saying. You're not concerned about how you're supposed to be loved, but how the person is supposed to be loved. You get? You understand. You put yourself in the person's feeling. You are sympathetically aware of the person's feeling. You get? And you respect it. Why endurance is now going within your boundaries to tolerate. Do you get? This thing hurts you. This thing breaks you, but you're going above your strength to tolerate. Do you get that? So there's a tiny line between understanding and endurance. Just like that popular story of the frog who was placed in a pot of water. You understand? And the heat was turned on, and the frog could have jumped out, but it was trying to. The frog naturally has the ability to adjust its temperature to its environment. So he's at that point, I call it understanding, trying to understand that, oh, this water is becoming a little bit of heat, hot. Maybe it will calm down. Yeah. I can adjust. And then the water gets very heated. Now the frog has endured to its limit. It wants to jump out, but it has lost all its strength. It has used all its strength to adjust to the environment. At the end, it died. So most times, you see domestic violence, people endure and endure till they die. While some persons are lucky enough to know that, okay, this has become toxic, and then jump out. Do you get? And one thing I want to highlight again, and I hope we can talk on it, is the fact that some persons are in toxic relationships without them knowing. They just feel they understand. I understand that when the body calm down, it go come. You know, it go soon come around. I know when it don't do like 4 days, it go come. You know, not just slap, it slap. You know, they pass slap. You understand? It go soon come beg me. They don't know it's already toxic. They need someone, a friend, a family, somebody to call their attention that this thing has become toxic.
Okay, now to add to what you just said, you know, when you said he just slapped you, you say, you just ordinary slap. See, from clap, right into the entire dance. Whatever you know you can't take as the relationship is starting, as the relationship is still very much fresh, know that you can't take it when both of you become husband and wife. Why I'm saying this is because if you can't take some pains when both of you are dating, when we talk about endurance, you can't take it when both of you are married, like I said. And now, if you want to talk about this endurance and all that, know that endurance is something you can deal with if only you know your position in a relationship. You can decide to endure a man, and he does not recognize the fact you are enduring. He still feels you are doing your normal woman duty. It's your duty now. You can carry the affairs of the house. You can do this. You can tolerate. It's a woman's nature to endure. He might not be seeing it from the angle that you are just trying to cope with those things you are not comfortable with in the relationship. Now, I'm saying this because I want to also let us know that in a relationship, communication is also a key, because you talked about it. Now, you might be in that relationship trying to tolerate so many things that you are not comfortable with, thinking ordinarily on his own, he would change. He might not know that you're not comfortable with those things he's doing, that you're just enduring, trying to pretend that you're happy, trying to be okay with those things, unknown to him. So I'm trying to let you know that also learn to speak out. Communicate with your partner when you know that you can no longer tolerate, when you know you can no longer endure those things. Speak out. You understand? Because it's an important thing to do. If you don't speak out, you will die in silence. You understand? Because a lot of people think, yeah, you know, there is a general saying that action speaks louder than words. Your action that is supposed to speak louder than your words might not even send a message across to him. So you have no choice than to call him. Communication, that's it. And in doing this, you must make sure you understand your partner's mood. If you don't understand your partner's mood, you might be sending a right message at a wrong time. So for you to be able to send your message so that your partner can also understand your own feelings, you have to study his mood. You have to study her mood so that you might not be the person that will be like, okay, I want to talk to you. This has been disturbing me. And at the end of the day, he's not even in a good mood to listen to you. You might just be talking to an empty brain. Not that there's nothing upstairs, but he doesn't just don't want to listen. There's nothing there for you to talk. He's not even giving you attention. That head is thinking about something very much important to him. So you have to study his mood so that you will know when your own time is needed. That's for me.
All right, Mama P, what would your advice be to people who are in relationships right now? Whether normal relationships or it's marriage, what would your advice be to them if they're enduring in their relationship?
Oh, before I go into the advice, don't...
Okay.
You want to say something?
No.
Don't come and be jumping, like don't come and be too in a haste. You might just be understanding and bed because Ladies Night said some persons are understanding.
It's not everybody.
Enduring.
And
No.
you know, earlier on I said something about compromise.
Yes.
Sometimes you may not like what the person is doing,
But you just
or what they
compromise.
want you to do, but you just say,
Yes.
okay, let me just do it because that's the essence
Yes.
of being
So
together.
don't, you know, women are quick to just summarize and judge. You know, we know
Yeah,
ourselves.
very quick.
So don't come and say now, Ladies Night said, it's like this thing is toxic. Maybe I'm not the one. Maybe I'm not the one waking you to your toxicity. Please be sure you have understood enough. Let me talk from the aspect of women or men. I don't know which aspect I'm talking from, but just listen and understand. Men also need love. It's not all about sex or sexual satisfaction. Sometimes they need pampering. They need that thing you need, they need it too. Don't think he's a man, he's strong, he might not really need this. Maybe I'm overdoing. No, give your best. Do you understand? And when he acts off, don't just easily judge. I feel sometimes men don't want to show their weakness, like they understand what you are saying, but you see them change. You see them say something like, you see, if I do now, you will complain. No, meaning when you actually did frown or complain, they noticed. Where the toxicity comes in is when you know that he knows that this thing hurts you, and he's doing it without remorse, and he expects you to understand. Like, for instance, he knows, you know that he knows that this particular girl you're not comfortable with. I'm just using the common explanation. And he's chatting on your phone, like there's no, as in he's doing certain things in general without remorse. And he expects you to understand. And when he causes trouble, probably you're even still the one to broker peace. He won't ever come around to say sorry. Do you understand? Because it's a woman's word to understand. That's where toxicity are setting. That's where, personally, I see toxicity as setting. And to the men out there, try to, because you asked for advice, right? If you are there, you are enduring, and you think you've reached your limits, like Caroline said, don't go into marriage. And if you're already in marriage, find a way to call for family meeting.
Okay.
Now, to add to, because, you know, you talked about domestic violence, and I feel we've not really dwelled more on that.
I'm sorry, I want, before I forget this, you said something about before you go into marriage. Please hold the thought.
No problem.
Before you go into marriage. Now, what if you're a lady who is past the age where everybody normally gets married, and this is the only person who has actually approached you, or the only reasonable person, and there's just one thing that is about that person that you feel in the long run you may not be able to endure, but because of the fact
age
that
factor.
Yes,
especially
and
in
pressure from family members and every other person
pressure
around
from
you.
society, those that are very close to me know that I'm of the opinion, I have a strong psychological thoughts that everybody is not meant for marriage.
Yep.
I say it, I don't know if you've heard me say it before.
You
No, I say it all the time. I say some persons are going to be single, rich and successful, while some persons are going to be married,
successful.
It could be anything. You know, you don't know your destiny. See, I've never ever allowed, I'm using myself as a case study, though I'm not old, I'm not even up to 30s yet, but I've never ever felt the pressure of getting married. I've never sat down to think of what will my wedding color be. I refuse. I've done. When I see you getting married, I'm so happy for you. I will come and I will spray money, but I have never one day wished, oh, if it was me. I've never thought it in my head. But when it comes, I know it will come. When it comes, it will meet me somewhere very good. And if it doesn't come, I don't think I'll be worried. It's high time we start removing that mentality of time is going. Time is good. That's why a lot of persons are suffering in marriages. The man now marries you and sees it as though he's doing you a favor because you've crossed 35, you've crossed 30. Do you understand? So why would you want to now end up with a man that you are likely going to break up with? A man that easily hits you, and then tomorrow he comes to apologize. And you know you are that lady who has stood strong against domestic violence of any sort. A man that easily body shames you. See fat, you're full everywhere. See now, wow, don't make you go bath. And then you go to the bedroom, you know tears has filled your eyes. But because age is running out, you just have to bear. Knowing fully well that this man is a saucy person and you can't cope with a saucy person. And this man will continue like this till 90. You really want to deal with that? No, I won't. I won't even advise. To hell with time.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Like,
you were about to say something before I stopped you.
Before I say that,
okay.
This other question, I think it has, it hits me so hard, and I have to say this.
So it was relevant that I actually
yeah, it's very important to ask. Now,
okay.
You know, should I say this? Like, gone are the days we live life to impress people, and gone are the days you live life because you're living for people. Now, I say this all the time. I don't want to live my life because I think of what people would say. Or I don't want to live my life because I feel if I do this, people will say this. So now, when you as a young lady feel you are out of age is running out of you, you are becoming advanced, you are becoming old, and people are beginning to ask you questions like, when are you going to get married? Families are asking you these questions. Trust me, if your family member asks you, when are you going to get married? Please ask them, when do you want me to die? Because a lot of young women out there who are even more beautiful, wealthier than you are dead. So if they're just concerned about you just not getting married, at least tell them that you should be concerned for the fact that I am alive. That means definitely someday, somehow, I will eventually get married.
Of course.
For the fact I'm alive is enough reason for you to know that I will still get married. Otherwise, if you're concerned about me not getting married, then you should be concerned about me. Why am I living?
Yes.
That's it. Now, I'm saying this because so many young women also got married, not because they want to get married. They just want to answer somebody's surname. I beg.
So I just want to post on Facebook.
Yes, I beg. Call me Mrs. this. Call me Mrs. this. They just want to attach that Mrs. to change their, okay, fine, Shebi, they want me to get married. Yes, marital status, social status and all that. Let them address me as Mrs. somebody. He's somewhere, God knows where he is. And that is it. That is just the mindset some people have today. Not because they want to get married for them to start giving birth to children or all that. They just want to. So everybody have different mindset about marriage. So if anybody around you, sorry, I might be sounding a little bit hard or harsh, but please don't allow yourself to be disturbed about what people will think about you or the pressure coming from them, from their questions like, when will you get married? And
then you get into endurance.
Endurance, yeah. You now find yourself that, please, I think this guy has been on me for a very long time. Though I don't like him, I don't love him, no feelings attached. But maybe eventually we'll get to love ourselves, we get to understand ourselves. And for now, let me just be tolerating him. Let me bear this one. How long will you continue to bear? If you don't love, yes, we know we build love, we build feelings, but at least something about that person have to trip you like, I think I like his leg. I think I like, you know, you should be able to like,
at least gets broken.
No, let's just say at least you should be able to like something.
We should stop basing our love or attraction for a person on their outward appearance, because for instance your face
I'm just trying to say that at least
and that's the only thing he sees in you.
Yes. No, get the point.
Go
like
for the
my
person's
own
character or personality.
You see, that's exactly what I'm. There must be something you like about that person. I just gave. I like his leg. For instance, you must be attracted to something.
What the Empress is saying. See what the Empress. It's a major problem. Like Empress has said, some persons are just attracted to her shape, her beauty,
and which may destroy one day.
Will definitely be destroyed one day. Something might just happen. You know her fingers. She might be making hot eba for you one day, and hot water will just burn it. And you look at
just okay, now I understand.
It's just.
But do you know that there must be something that should attract you to somebody?
What we are saying now is it shouldn't be based on physical beauty.
Shouldn't be
whatever
based on
we attract
beauty,
you to someone should be. Tell me you are attracted to her. You are sapiosexual. You are attracted to her intelligence. I like the way she talks.
It's something.
Even in 90, she's still going to be talking that way. You know, I like the way she thinks. I like the way she walks. Trust me, walking does not change. Except something bad happens, which we don't.
It's just like what I said. If you
something may not happen.
No,
let's not say it will happen.
Something may happen.
And
the step will change.
No, I just see what we are saying is that if you are liking something, it should be something innate. I might not give the exact explanation or the perfect example, but it should be something within. It should be something that no other person can see. Like I have a friend. The first time I met, I wasn't close to her. I was first close to her husband. I was wondering, what did this man see for her body? Okay. Like she's big. I said, now wow. But with time we got close. I know she would see the disgust even in my face the first time I saw her. Sorry to say. Yeah. But we got close, but she has a good soul. If you give her 1,000 naira, she will multiply it. Her husband has money, but she's ready to sell face mask. Like, what kind of person is this? You see, I want to prepare you. You cannot stay in her house overnight and I want to leave the next morning. Like, oh, no wonder. The way she even dresses at home. I don't see that big body, because if you look all the night I spent in her house, she looked all neat and sexy. I'm like, whoa.
So that's to say that you got attracted to her inner person.
No, that's what I'm saying. Let's start learning how to get attracted to people's inner attitude. You see a girl now between a man who is not so handsome, but has some good qualities. Not so rich.
You won't get to know those qualities until you come close to the person.
No, so don't just discard them at first instance because they are not cute, they are not like your ex.
No.
Get close a bit.
These days, people are no longer moved by beauty.
Oh,
that's it.
You'll be shocked.
Well, that's what you think.
It's
not everybody.
Well, some people are no longer moved by beauty.
Still have
they
people
just
out
want
there.
to get close to you. What are you going to bring to the table? I think someone was
if you say people are not, let's use this coupe boys, let me call them. I don't know if any of you on Instagram,
Oh,
they
the
trended.
latest
If you say
one.
people are not moved, but these are men now.
Some
So it's
people
women.
are not moved by beauty.
My darling.
If you
It's
just,
still
just
I
some
watched
people
a
are
girl.
not
I
moved
watched
by
a girl.
beauty,
She was
truth be
scrolling
told.
her Instagram. Like when the bus, I could see her legit zooming into men's picture. Like you could see the attention.
She
Now
wants
I
to
don't.
see.
We are trying to divert from. Let's just try now to tally it with domestic violence. Let's not get into relationships or love affairs, friendships even, because of the physical beauty. You end up enduring because you are going to see this guy
fine boy again or fine girl again.
You are going to see
Sorry,
this guy. So
No, it's the
girl,
truth.
it
It's
happens.
the truth. It's
But
not,
you know,
yesterday I was with a friend and I didn't even notice what he saw, but he explained later and he was like, you see these 4 girls that just passed just now? It's only one that has sense. And I was like, why? He said, it was only one that greeted when she passed. The rest just passed like they don't. I said, is it greeting that's a problem? He said, that's the most important thing in a woman that can greet. To him, that's the most important
Yes.
thing. That girl was the least finest. Like, her shape be like, I don't know. The other girls were like classy fine girls. Maybe she's just their friend that they just,
Yes,
you understand?
that's me.
But she's the only one that passed us and greeted me. I didn't even notice. But he took that because probably
And
for
yes,
him,
that was something that
greeting
caught
is
his
something.
caught
Yes.
his attention.
So it
So
doesn't
he got
necessarily
attracted
have
to
to be
that.
the beauty. He was not even interested in the other fine girls. Do you understand? If it's some guys, their own is see fine girl, oh. Like they're so attracted
And
to
that is why I said not all guys are attracted to beauty.
it is. Well,
Just
not
a
all
few.
guys.
Not all guys,
Well, there-
yes,
exactly.
absolutely.
There are very few.
Just a few, but there are
They even
guys
use
like
it
that I
to
see.
make trends
But anyway,
on Twitter. Make she know sabi cook. I go teach her, make she just fine. Then
Yeah.
tomorrow you see when you don't buy fast food like 10 times, God knows okay, remain 90 years to go. You see him start nagging. Now coming
Well,
back to
like,
you want to say something?
I was still talking before we.
Please.
So the point is, let me just drop that line. Let me just drop it. Please don't allow yourself to be moved by so many questions like when will you get married? When your time comes, nobody can stop you. Your marriage is going to be the talk of the town, like it's going to be a shutdown. Yes, so that's me.
And for those already in marriage, and now you're hearing this, you're not realizing, this man has been toxic all this while. Oh, at least I don't understand now your papa, I don't date and sin. Only I ain't know me. Meet me as they born me. You know, that's the language those women use. And then he's all acting up. He doesn't drop money for food. He doesn't take care of the kids. He doesn't take care of you. Even the sexual attraction is hardly there. Probably he's hardly home. You know, maybe you're in this category, and I would not. I don't think me or my friends want to advise you to leave. You are already there. I'm not a frontier for divorce. You understand? You already know. You can get tips from us on how to talk to him when he's in his calm mood. Find a way around him. I'm not an advocate for divorce.
Unless, of course, it's a danger to your life.
Except it's a danger to your life.
Please just run. Don't listen to Mama P.
No,
Run.
no. See, allow me land. What I'm saying is, if it does not hit you, and you already have a way of survival for you and your children, do you understand? You're already enduring. Your children are already grown. Soon you're going to be reaping the fruits of your labor. I wouldn't tell you to leave. But if it's a case of beating, physical violence, like you know that once or twice, now God don't save you, say you know die, then you can leave. Leave. It doesn't matter if it's 10 years, 20 years, or 30. Like, leave. Let it be that after 40 years, let it be in his records that you left.
Okay.
Do you understand? That's
Continue
me.
from what Mama P said.
And that would be your
Domestic
last word.
violence. Whatever, if it's going to be my last word, but domestic violence, you can't enjoy it. They say he who runs, fights and run, lives to fight another day. If you run, you will live to marry another husband if you're still very young. If you don't
Even if you're not young.
even if you're not young, you can still marry. Unless it's your personal decision that you don't want to get married after him. But at least, run for your dear life. Your life, it has no duplicates. You cannot remold your face when he helps you to destroy it with beatings. So what I'm trying to say is, marry a man that you think your spirit will be okay with. But even when your spirit is okay with and he changes along the line and he begins to turn into a beast that he was never, please run for your dear life so that you will use your life and do something good. Domestic violence is not something you can manage, and that's
All right.
it.
No, the last word on the show. For those who know they understand correct English, and man use pidgin to explain now. You see, understanding, like I was telling them behind stage, understanding na pity, endurance na suffer.
Oh my goodness. Thank you very much. All right, we're going to go on a short break. I've had Mama P and of course the ever-glowing C White in the building. I am going to make a little switch and let my other ladies who are regulars on the show come, and of course we'll still be talking about the thin line between understanding and compromise, and of course endurance. This is Ladies Night. Do not go anywhere. All right, welcome back. It's still Ladies Night on Independent Television. I am Ameze Obai Siagwan. I told you before we went on the break that I will be making a little switch. I've got two new faces here on the program. They're not new faces to the program, but they're new faces on the episode for today. I got someone who has been away for a while. It's like they just know their place. They sit on the, the outer edge. So I've got MJ. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Mama P is actually laughing in the background. I can see you. Okay.
I'm really good, thank you.
You've been AWOL.
Well, I've been away for some time. I traveled. Are you okay now?
No, actually, I'm not. Anyways, I've got recently, I don't know what words to use now, someone who recently joined us talking about Giselle. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
You
You're
look
looking
beautiful.
good.
I was just about to say the same thing.
Yeah, I beat you to it.
Hey.
You look nice though.
Thank you very much. All right, now you guys were in the background when we were talking about our topic for today, talking about the thin line between understanding and compromise, and of course, endurance. What is your own take on it?
I love the way Mama P ended her segment. She said endurance is suffering.
Yeah.
Understanding is pity. You know, I love that because the difference between understanding and endurance, most people overlook it. I believe that most people know when they shift from understanding to endurance, because endurance tests your stamina. When you're understanding what someone is doing, you're doing it without, you know, having to put in so much effort. You're doing it without having to put in so much strain. You know, it's not really getting to you. You can joke about it, you can laugh about it, you can overlook it. But when it starts to get to you, when you have to put in that extra, then you know that you've left understanding into endurance. You've started suffering this person's, either the person's character, either the person's late nights, either what, you know, the person's actions or words. You've started suffering it when it comes to endurance. And then in terms of domestic violence, which we are focusing on today,
Yeah.
I would love to say that there is no understanding domestic violence.
Okay.
There is no understanding it. For me, there is no understanding domestic violence. There is no explanation as to why someone should abuse you. Not once, not twice. There is no understanding domestic violence. It's as plain and as simple as that for me.
All right. MJ, do you agree with her?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
And I'll add to it. Okay, understanding
So
is...
no one is controversial today. That's weird.
No, we'll get there.
All right.
Understanding is apprehension, comprehension, the ability to grasp, the ability to know, to... How do I put it now? Okay, the ability to know, let's leave it like that. Then why endurance? I would say, she said something about stamina, testing your stamina, yes. The ability for your strength to stand the test of time or even go beyond for somebody, or in someone's case, persistence, that's endurance. And there is really no understanding in domestic violence. So, okay, I understand the fact that he hit me. Unless I understand the fact that he hit me and I should run away. So it is getting really bad.
Okay.
So it is getting out of hand. That is where my understanding should come in play. That is where then I know. That is where I have grasped the fact that if I don't leave now, something will happen. That's for endurance and understanding. Domestic violence. You are with somebody who abuses. You know, domestic violence is not just physical abuse. There is verbal, there is emotional, there is psychological. So when somebody's abusing you anyway, okay, even the Bible says, the Holy Book says, do unto others what you want others to do to you. This is the law and the prophets. So when your man hits you and somebody
or your
just
woman,
pushes,
because we have a mixed.
yes, I have,
Yeah,
I
you
saw
have
a video.
you have people who are brutal women. I'm sorry to use. I actually did a research on that, domestic violence as regards men. And it was amazing the facts that I found.
Yeah.
Just that a lot of men tend to keep quiet about it because people will shame them. People
ego.
will say, ah, woman beats you.
Yes.
How? You understand? But a lot of men are going through this.
Yeah, and you know one thing, sorry to cut you short, about this men being abused at home, most times people only look at physical abuse as domestic violence. Women are very, very good at emotional abuse. They know how to manipulate you into doing. No, women are good at that. So a lot of men actually go through emotional abuse in their homes. But because we live in a society where if your eye is not swollen and your head is not bleeding, they feel like, oh, there's no violence there.
So
Women actually put
what you
their
are saying
men
is
through.
women abuse men. So please clarify, to what extent is this abuse?
I feel like it's a 50-50 thing. Men are just as much as abused domestically as women
Sure.
are.
No, my question is, you said they abuse men emotionally. To what extent does it get to that point? Because if a woman, everybody knows women's nature. We try to get whatever we want to get out of a man. Let me not say we do not do that sarcastically or with a heart of wickedness. But if you are trying to get money from your guy, there are some things you will tell him. Would you call that one abuse?
Well,
It depends on what
depends on the
if you're
intention.
putting the person down, one, like you're insulting, you're
Exactly. That's what I want to
I don't know.
because we have
There's a
listeners
word
and
for
we
it,
have
but I can't
viewers.
grasp it right now. There's something I don't know how to put it. There are times when you talk to a man in a way, or anybody as the case may be, you talk to the person in a way that it hurts their feelings. It makes them feel like they are less of a person that they are.
Reduces
When you
their
start doing that,
self-esteem.
that's emotional abuse.
Yeah, true.
already.
I understand.
So now you can go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Do I remember what I was saying? I'll try. Thanks to you ladies. You see, there are, like I said, there are emotional abuse, verbal abuse, psychological abuse, and other kind of domestic abuse that you want to think about. Even some that have not even, there are no names attached to it yet. They exist. So if you are living with such a person and you know that this thing, I will not do this thing to this person, I don't do this thing to this person, so why should this person do this to me? That's the first question you should ask. Then another thing is, somebody can be in a bad mood, in a very bad mood, and then they'll just, there's something called transfer of aggression. They'll just transfer it on you. That does not mean that person should hit you. The highest I would say that would go is verbal abuse. Or just, please leave me alone, just say something, because that person is angry at that moment. Even that verbal abuse is not still okay. But to the extent where the person will raise his hand to hit you just because he came down from a bike and the bike man insulted him, so if he feels like, my mom always says, now who you feel beat. She always says that. So now who you feel beat, transfer of aggression. So if somebody offends you, the next thing is, if your wife or your girlfriend did not put 2 meats in your plate of soup, so you decide to hit her because you just feel like that day has been a bad day for you. So transfer of aggression is another thing. And something can happen that somebody might tell you something you don't like. That might not be his character. That might not be his person. That's where understanding comes into play. And that's where the compromise that you spoke of comes into play. You then understand that, okay, this person is not like this. He does not always do this. So let me understand this part. But when it gets to endurance is when he continually does that thing. He will do it. Even the moment he just sees you, he just sees you like a playground. He continually does that to build his ego, to feed himself his stupid mentality that, okay, I'm a man or the woman because there is somebody paying me attention, so let me do this, let me do that. I feel more like a woman because my older sister told me of a lady where she works. The lady is dating somebody in that same organization, and then she kept on saying, I will not marry a man that is this, I will not marry a man that is that. And when they assessed it, that man is everything that she does not want. So because the man kept on paying her attention and buying everything, So she kept on abusing the man. So there are abuses from females, but you just need to draw the line. And understanding and endurance, there is a sharp line, a thin line between them. So when you cross over to the other side, most persons do not know. They still keep on enduring, thinking they understand. Whereas some persons will even feel, I'm the one that is wrong. I'm the one that is doing this. I'm the one that is offending him. I'm the one that is offending her. That's why. That's when we can understand. That's endurance. That mentality is not good because you will die in it sooner or later.
In regards to domestic violence, you said something earlier that when the person does it the first time and you say it's not like that, you actually used emotional violence, emotional abuse. You said if the person does it the first time, talks to you in a way you don't like the first time, or insults you, there are times when you say, okay, maybe he's going through something and that's why he did that. But when it becomes repeatedly, that's when it becomes an abuse, right? So what if someone slaps you the first time? I know earlier on when we had Mama Pia and C. White on stage, C. White said something that if he hits you the first time, it's from clap that you enter dance.
Yes.
It's from the side of the road you enter the bush. Now, saying he hits you the first time, you just pack your bags and you leave. Is that a wise idea? Or you should wait and see, maybe that was the only time in his entire life when he hit anybody, whether it's you or anybody at all. Do you wait to see, or you just leave once that first slap lands on your face?
Okay, there are cases whereby it happens the first time and does not happen again, ever again. That first time was a big time mistake and he understood that and he apologized and all of that. But there are cases whereby the woman stays and, or the man stays and it continues. So if you want to stay, I'm not saying run away, especially if it's marriage. If you want to stay, you can stay to see if it will happen again. But if it should repeat itself, please, please leave. Do your best to leave. I know it will not be easy. It's not just what we are saying here. It's not easy to just wake up and pack your, because I like to be realistic, you know that. I like to be realistic. It's not just easy. We cannot just say, okay, because the Empress or MJ said, get up and leave. It's not easy, especially when you already have children in that marriage. To leave will be very difficult. But if you see that it's going to cost you your life or it's going to cost you anything great, please leave. And you also said if he abuses you verbally for the first time, it depends on what he says and depends on how he says it. Because you might just, okay, it's because he's angry. And it depends on the kind of anger. So you and your partner, you understand him. You know when he's going overboard. You know when he's crossing the line. So if he abuses you verbally for the first time, depending on how he says it, then if he comes back to apologize, that's a good or a tick. Then if he doesn't continue, because there are some guys that will say, okay, she will forgive me. All I have to do is apologize. If he continues, sorry.
Yes, there are men who will beat you to a pulp and then they come and cry.
They'll come
I
and
don't
cry,
know why
buy you
I'm doing
chocolate
this.
and
I'm
flowers.
sorry. They'll buy you gifts, exactly.
Some people take you outside and then profess their love all over again in front of so many persons just for you to believe, and then you follow him again. My mom also said something that if a man raised his hand to hit you and then he withholds himself and then he doesn't do it while he's dating you, will complete the action when he marries you.
Okay, that's
well, give or take, depends on the person.
Depends on the person, but
Depends on the person.
are you sure we have that kind of stamina to wait for it to happen before we know when to leave? That's the issue. You might get lucky, it might not happen again. You might not be lucky, it might continue, but whosoever wears the shoes, don't wear it itches. So
all right,
leave it
Giselle.
to your God.
So I've noticed the he factor with
Also
He
said
or she, because
said he or
I established
she
that
in our
fact.
Okay,
conversation.
sorry.
but
The
I-
Holy Book
no,
said
I
he
don't-
is also she. So
No.
I
I'm a
don't really
Christian.
blame you because that's what's, it's rampant in society. When you talk about domestic violence, we always put women as the victims and men as the
perpetrators,
but it can be swapped. So for me, I don't think it's wise to just up and leave for the first time. Like she said, especially in marriage, if it's just, you're just dating for dating's sake, or you've barely gotten to know this person, then yes, once is enough. But if it's a situation where you've been married, before you got married, you've been dating, you've known this person for a while, you know that this person has never hit me before. this is just happening for the first time in 15 years I've known this person. You can't just pack your bags and leave. It actually shows that you are not all in. Because most times when people when people you've come to know for a long period of time, like your siblings for instance, when they do something to hurt you, you try to fix the situation, right? So that first time you just don't leave, but twice is enough. That's my opinion. Twice is enough. It's happened the first time, fine, you can stay and try to it happens the second time, then you leave.
Sure.
There is no waiting for it to become a life-threatening situation. No, twice is enough for me. Twice is enough.
MJ said something about her being a Christian. Now, there's a part of the Bible that says, how many times do you forgive? 70 times. Can you complete it for me?
70
Okay,
times 7.
well,
I get, yes.
the Bible says forgive, not accept.
So for a Christian, let's look at some Christians.
smart.
They tell you marriage is for better, for worse. Now, before you get married, you're dating somebody, it's a whole different game. You can leave at any point, any time. Even if you're engaged, even if the wedding is tomorrow, you can leave. But when you're in a marriage, you're committed, especially when you have kids, like MJ said, it's not as easy to just get up and leave. What do you do with your kids? Some men will not let you take their children from them.
Well, in that case,
So do you keep forgiving and try to endure, especially because of your kids?
Okay, if you're doing it, if you're doing it because of your kids, if you think you're doing your kids good by staying in an abusive relationship, you're actually wrong. Because studies have shown that children who grow up around domestic violence turn out worse than children who grow up in divorce. Because some persons actually get to learn love. They see although it's not rampant in this society, but in the Western world, you can have a woman who was living with one man, she got married, they had a child, the relationship became very toxic, she left. She got married again, and now this is a very loving home. That child has a better chance of growing up without being dysfunctional than for her to stay in it. You are allowing that child grow up in a toxic environment because you're thinking of the child. I mean, people have their wires crossed when it comes to this. They say, oh, I can't leave because of the children. But what you're doing is causing more damage to that child, because I'm pretty sure that child would rather be alone with you in the house and have rest of mind. Know that when I get home, I will sleep peacefully, eat peacefully, go out and come back peacefully, than you are both living together and she has to close her ears every night. Okay. So at the end of the day, you're not doing it for the kids.
All right, now.
Okay, sorry, I was going to say what she said, but let me just add to it. If you know you cannot really live because of what the Bible says as a Christian, you can take this man to a psychologist. That is, if he will follow you. Or even
as a Muslim, I think in Islam it's the same thing.
Yes, if he will follow you. If he follows you, then okay, that's one step to solving your problem. Then if he doesn't follow you, can decide to pray on it, because miracles happen. You can decide to pray on it. But if it gets to that point that nothing is changing, but we pray things change. But if it gets to that point where nothing is changing, where your children have to grow up in that toxic environment, that if your husband is hitting you and your son grows up in that kind of environment, he will definitely hit his wife. He will feel like that is the way it is done to correct a woman. He will feel like that is the only way women understand what a man wants. So he will hit his wife also. And if your daughter grows up in that kind of environment, she will feel like if her husband hits her tomorrow, that's because it's her fault. Her mother made such mistakes before. So it's not proper and it's not wise. So I advise people, know when to take your first leg out of it and then the other will follow.
Well, when it comes to, let me just add this. When it comes to forgiveness, people have used that as an excuse. No, people have used that as an excuse a lot of times to tolerate nonsense and endure, like we said. Now, forgiveness is not acceptance. Let me use a very generic example. Okay. Still Christian, but very generic. Do you think God hasn't forgiven the devil? Well, he's not back in heaven, is he?
Well,
We don't know. We can't say.
Oh, I know he's not back in heaven. If he was back in
we
heaven,
know he's not
he
back
would
in
not be-
heaven. We do not know if God has forgiven them.
Oh, God is
No, he
ever-loving.
probably
Of course,
has
he
forgiven him, but
You cannot have
this is the
unforgiveness in
consequence
God.
of his action. So he's suffering for that.
forgive him. Your husband hits you the first time. Okay, let's see how he hits you the second time. Forgive him and move on. Twice is enough to call it abuse for me. Forgiveness does not mean that you have to remain there enduring nonsense.
But can
You
I ask
can
you a question?
you can actually genuinely forgive someone and have absolutely nothing to do with them.
There's a part in the Bible where it says, I saw it once, and ever since then I've not seen it again. It says the only time you can I'm sorry, the only time you can actually leave a marriage is if your partner dies or if he commits adultery. It's not there that if your partner hits you. So what do we do in cases like that? Because I know in terms of forgiveness,
as far as
Well,
I'm
there is a part in the
concerned,
Bible that also says that
we're teaching Bible
no,
now.
there is a
No,
part in the
go
Bible
ahead.
that says if your husband is not a believer and you do not want to stay to let your believing be a covering for him, you have every right to leave.
well, it doesn't mean that Christians don't abuse their wives or their husbands. So
sure.
there are people who are Christians, as the word, let's use that word, Christians. You know, not everybody who goes to church is a Christian.
Sure.
Some people just go to church. They
So-
say maybe they go church,
Yeah,
or I
to-
want to go
to
and do
warm the bench.
Snapchat. I want to let everybody know I went. Yes, I think we can't necessarily use that to back what she's saying up. I don't agree totally with that, because let me say that for me, someone who wasn't hitting me before I got married to the person, when he starts doing that, that's deception. It means he deceived me into that
Yes.
marriage. And you can leave a marriage which was based on lies.
Deception.
And as far as I'm concerned, when you start hitting me, something you did not do, you didn't even
we
show
all
any sign
leave.
before, it means you have deceived me. And so as far as I'm concerned, that marriage is null and void.
Yes.
That's
and-
where I can
and-
base it on, not necessarily my covering and as a spiritual covering on the person's life, because he may actually have a relationship with God and we have backsliding. So it doesn't
Okay.
mean he's an unbeliever. It just means
Well,
he's
it depends
That is
on
why I
your
said- that's why I
definition
said-
of a believer, though.
Well,
It depends
That's why
on
I
your
said
definition
try
of a
and
believer.
figure it out. There are persons who could talk to him and he will change. But if he doesn't change, that's when you should leave. By all means, you
Well,
should leave.
For me, figure it out from a safe distance.
exactly from your father's
You
house.
may not
or your
finalize-
own house.
You may not finalize.
If your father is of the
divorce,
opinion that you
but
should stay.
pack your bags and leave the house. You may not finalize the divorce. It takes quite a while to finalize a divorce. Carry your bags. If you don't have your father's house to stay, if you don't have your own house to stay,
Rent an
rent house.
apartment.
Stay
Some
in a
persons
hotel
can
room.
be stranded,
Because,
actually.
well, it
I don't
can.
see any mother who would hear that her daughter is being brutalized by the husband and will shut the door, no matter how your father shouts. Because I know there are some men who are traditional. I've given you out. You don't
Yes.
have room in this house
Very
again. Go.
conservative men.
You get. But there's no mother. I don't believe. Well, and if you have a mother that is like that, your father will not be like that. The opposites attract. So one person must
Okay, let me
calm
not be,
down
Let me
for
not
you.
be thinking Nollywood now. I wanted to say, what if in a case where she does not have parents and she
She,
has no
she will have
relation?
if she's a
Well,
Christian and
there-
she
there-
goes to
there-
church.
there
If she
are-
has colleagues in the office, people who are, she definitely have friends.
Well,
unless of course the
in
man
that
cut
case,
her
if
short,
she's
cut her off.
absolutely positively stranded, then there are agencies she can reach out to.
NGOs, yeah.
There are
Even the
NGOs,
government.
there are government agencies, and they are just, well-meaning individuals in the society who fight against abuse that she can reach out to. She can come to ITV and sit at the reception
I'm
and
telling
someone
you.
will find her. Yes.
Now you're
I
saying,
once
you're saying
found,
something.
they once brought a missing child to ITV, right? And, the press is obliged to, handle those cases. So if she doesn't know anywhere else to go, she can come to ITV. Either she finds the well-meaning individual right here in the studio, or we'll link her up to the agencies that can help. Just sort whatever you want to sort out from a safe distance, because you may not live to tell the third story. That's one thing people don't understand. A blow to your chest may
Can
just,
kill you.
shift your
Internal
heart,
bleeding,
and then
that's
you
the end.
and that's the end. You just die on the spot for no reason.
Okay.
So-
Before you go on, I want to applaud you for something you just did. Now this is our reigning Miss ITV Queen, and there's something you just did. You said come to ITV like you're advertising ITV. I love that. So keep it
Thank
up.
you.
Mama, first Mama P now.
I look
Mama
like
P,
Mama
Mama P. What are you doing to me? Your juju will not work. All right, so MJ, your last words before we head out of the studio. What is your advice to people who are going through relationships where they are actually enduring? They are not happy, they are not satisfied with what they have, but they are just there, trying to.
All right. What I said before, if you know you will not do that to any other person, if you're a woman, you think, okay, if I'm a man, I won't do this to any other woman. And if you're a man and the woman is abusing you, you're saying, if I were to be a woman, I wouldn't do this to my man. Just know that that relationship is not for you. What you know that you won't do to somebody, nobody should do it to you. Nobody has the right to do it to you. That is if you are just in a dating relationship. But marriage is more serious, and we have to look at it from different angles and try to solve a lot of problems first. Because there's family, there's children, there are a lot of things tied to it. So if you know that you are in that abusive marriage, try to work it out. Try to talk to somebody like, let me call you D. Like D said,
Giselle.
thank you, she's D now. She said, go to an NGO, meet people. But there are some persons that are still locked up and still abused. Those are the kind of cases that I do not even know where to begin. But we just pray that God in His infinite mercies will see you through. But if you can come out, cry to somebody, do not ever feel too low, or do not ever feel like I'm too ashamed to talk about it. You can talk about it. Talk about it to somebody. There is somebody who can help you. Just solve your problem from a distance, so that while you are solving it, you are not still being beaten up by this very person. And try and save yourself first. If you have children, know that that person, that man or that woman will not take care of those children. Sorry, let me say this. There is a man I know currently. His wife left him. He's alone with 5 children. His wife does not even care about the 5 children. I do not know the backstory, the background story, if the man was abusing the wife, but all I know is that the woman constantly does not even contact those children at all. So you can imagine, the man is the one taking care of the children as we speak. So please, if you know that you can do well for your children, please leave. Try. Your children will understand when they grow up. Just try and solve your problem. Do not die in it, most especially. Not allow that man to kill you first, or that woman to ruin your life first. So
all right, Giselle, last words on the show.
Okay.
Advice.
Okay, before I get to advising, I want to first caution, because there are a lot of persons that have removed compromise from their relationship in the name of, I can't tolerate nonsense. Now, when it comes to endurance, it's more of actions, words, outwards relation than personality. So do not go trying to change everybody that you meet just because you think, oh, I don't want to endure, I'm understanding and all of that. No. Compromise, like the Empress said at the beginning of the show, is still a very key factor to making your relationship work. You have to know where to balance it. But if you're currently in a relationship and you're very sure that this is beyond compromise, this is beyond understanding, you're now enduring, then you shouldn't still be in that relationship. And if it's married, like MJ said, you may want to try to fix it because, you've supposedly signed a contract for the rest of your life, but do it from a safe distance. Don't just break up or divorce immediately. There's also a saying that says, absence makes the heart grow fonder. Yeah. So just maybe when you're away for a while, you can even take a vacation if you can. That period may give him time to understand your value. And then when you come back, you can now amend things. Don't stay in any toxic relationship for any reason whatsoever. It's never worth it. Never.
All right. The thin line between understanding and, of course, endurance is what we've been talking about today on Ladies' Night. My 4 ladies, shout out to those who stepped out of the studio about a few minutes ago talking about Mama P and the ever-glowing C. White. Big thank you to MJ and of course Giselle for also joining me on the show. It's been a really, really amazing time with you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Someone said you're welcome.
You're
Seriously.
very welcome.
All right, now next week we're going to be talking about endurance again, but in another a dimension. We're going to look at self-esteem, enduring your skin, enduring yourself, enduring your character, regardless of the fact that this is not you. Society tends to give us standards that a lot of people want to follow. It may not necessarily be good for you. That's what we're going to be talking about next week. When should you put a stop to things that you do just because society says you should do it? That's what we'll be looking at on the program Ladies Night next week. So if I were you, I would definitely tune into the station same time. My name is Ameze Obai Siagbon. Have a beautiful night rest.